Welcome back!
Welcome back, my nerds!
I'm having so much fun.
Umineko.
One thing I wanted to address, which I said off camera just after we finished recording last time, that was probably very relevant.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, just the bit about the theory I posed at the end of last one.
Alright.
The theory remains the same, like the whole sea motif and everything, but I should also mention that it was like, earlier on when we were looking at Beatrice and like her leg shackle, I'd initially kind of like, I'd thought that that shackle was kind of gonna be indicative of some like motifs of that we've seen through various like stories.
Okay.
You know, like, is it a prison thing? Is it a, in this case, like, basically I forget exactly what I said, but basically the theory is that the like void between the Kakara?
The Kakara.
Yeah, is like indicative of the trauma of the writer being drowning, and I feel like something to back that up is the whole like using a weight to drown yourself thing. Maybe that's indicative of what's like on Beatrice's leg. Because initially I had thought when they mentioned it in episode 4 that it was like tied to the chair or something, but it seems like it's just a weight in this one.
Maybe.
So when it came to like the sea thing, I just immediately was like, that one.
Throw them together.
That's the motif that we're going with here.
Nice. Well, I'm gonna give a shameless plug to Kazamatsuri, the sister forum to Rikanjima.org, because I've been doing a similar thing with a novel called Little Busters. There's fucking darkness all through that novel, and I'm like, you know what? I have no fucking clue what this means, but I'm gonna make some fucking stabs in the dark, wink, and some crazy shit based on motifs that I'm familiar with.
Yeah.
Which is pretty fun. The history of the Tanka poem is like the crux of one of my fucking 1,000-long word essays. Point is, little details becoming
If only it was so easy
arguments.
to write essays as in school and stuff.
Here's the thing, I had like a 2,000-word essay due in a couple of days, and I was only like a quarter of the way through it. I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna write a thing on Little Buses, and I tallied it all up, and it was like 3,000 words, and I was like, you know what? I don't know why it is. I guess I just care about this more than schooling, which is probably not very responsible of me, but I enjoyed it. Shout out to Little Busters.
Let's go.
Shout out to Little Busters and Nazi, you beautiful, gorgeous
I
gal.
won't say anything on Little Busters because someone...
You have some spoilers,
I have
apparently.
some spoilers because someone tried to get me into visual novels
And they were like,
years
here's
ago.
all the plot. And you're like, no, why?
It was, well, I mean, it was more just I was like, sure, whatever, because I just didn't care about it.
Right. You read all the secrets.
I didn't know all of the secrets.
Well, I hope you're enjoying not doing that with Umineko.
I am enjoying not doing that with Umineko. I think it is definitely worth reading through this.
It's definitely part of the experience.
Unobstructed.
Trying to figure things out.
Even the few spoilers that I've had, I fortunately have only been things that I know that something happens, not what it means, nor how it happens.
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty badly spoiled on some characters and some things pertaining to this episode, actually, when I first was introduced to Umineko.
I mean,
we'll get to that later.
then one of the things that like sold me on reading the story was a spoiler.
Yes, which we'll get to at some point.
We've kind of already gotten to it, but...
Yeah, we'll get to it properly.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I am so hyped.
Alright, let's go. No more tangents.
Let's do it.
It seems we've managed to make it through the first day. Natsu could be seen in the study. When she muttered as though to herself, golden butterflies appeared and formed the shape of a person. We mustn't let our guards down. I can't imagine what will last for tomorrow if we simply sit around here. So as I suspected, simply saying father's in a bad mood and refuses to come out won't be enough to deceive them completely. Indeed. It seems last year left them quite suspicious. Because of that, the toxin has expanded and is coiling itself around the study, growing ever tighter. I imagine it goes beyond mere suspicions raised last year. That's right. The toxin has gone too thick to be explained away by that alone. Someone must have suspected Kinzo-sama's death since last year, and is strongly intent on exposing that secret at this year's family conference. Does that mean we have them fully deceived and even a fully... Oh my goodness. We didn't have them fully deceived even a full year ago.
Natsu's a bit flustered, it seems.
She's a little nervous about Kinzo being exposed. Unfortunately, it's probably best to assume that, given our current situation. Renovi, on the other hand, completely composed. The typhoon will remain here till tomorrow, and the boat will not come for them until the day after. In short, we must endure for another 36 hours at the very least. It may not be sensible. Oh my god. It may not be visible for your eyes, Nazi.
What's going on?
I don't know what's happening. All
What's
my voices
going
are getting
on?
messed up.
And you're reading wrong.
Oh my god. I need to take a breath.
This is what happens when we do 7 videos in a day.
It's true, it kills me. It may not be visible to your eyes, Nazi, but the closed-room barrier seal in this room was once very firm. Tonight, however, it's become worn down, almost to the point of crumbling, like dry leaves awaiting a windstorm. No, his time is already here. Nazi-sama, I propose that we switch from the closed-room barrier to something else. What do you mean by that? Are you suggesting we change our plan? That is correct. Virgilia-sama and I, oh my god. So bad at this. Virgilia-sama and I will reconstruct a barrier similar to last year's.
I feel like that was Bronove.
Oh, it must have been Bronove. What am I even talking about?
Beatrice wouldn't have used the honorific.
You know what?
Points.
She might have though. She's a teacher.
Half a point.
Maybe.
Half a point.
In other words, we'll take Kinzo out of the study and have him tightrope walk from shadow to shadow where the toxin can't reach, just like last year. It may be dangerous, but I would like to second that proposal. Fuck. You know what? I don't know who it is. I don't know who's talking anymore.
One point.
Okay,
whole
fine.
point.
Give him a fucking point! I'm out. I'm done! Playthrough cancelled. Ryushi, you've beaten me. Is this a joke? Do you truly intend to change the plan this far in? When one realizes they cannot withstand a siege, they must consider the option of abandoning the castle. Right now, this room is like a castle surrounded by enemy troops with its walls about to crumble. If staying put means certain death, then you also have the option of riding out for one last stand at an honorable defeat. After all, surrender doesn't seem to be an option in this fight. I'll protect Father's secret until the very end. If it's discovered, we'll have no chance to talk our way out of it. My husband's embezzlement will be exposed to the light of day, and the Ushimi family's honor will be destroyed. We must remain firm and prevent that no matter what happens. There's something on the mic. Calm down, I understand you. Krause's alchemy will soon yield great results. If we can just make it through this year, we'll manage. So don't get flustered. But we use this strategy precisely because we wouldn't be able to pull off the same trick as last year, right? Isn't that the height of stupidity to return to a plan you previously abandoned because it was impossible? Just what sort of plan could we hope to make at this point? Bronove and I will prepare one. Leave it to us, for creating illusions is what witches do. All you have to do is give us your permission, Natsui-sama. Teacher and Bronove are quite reliable at times such as these, and the servants of the One-Winged Eagle are top-notch furniture. Once Teacher and Bronove rebuild the magic we need, I imagine the servants will work hard to protect it. It still isn't too late. Let's take Kinzo out of the study and make that illusion walk around. Did you forget we chose our current strategy because we considered plans like that and couldn't find anything that would work? It would be the height of foolishness to get flustered in an emergency and carelessly throw away our primary plan. But Natsui-sama, as you stand there, Mr. Toxin, you must realize better than anyone else that we will no longer be able to outlast this siege. I propose that we try and think of another plan without changing our objective of holding the fort. In any event, as long as we can keep this room sealed, no one will be able to deny Father's existence. After all, one cannot determine the contents of a cat box that no number of people could ever hope to open. Well, that may be true. But humans are capable of defying reason. It's possible for them to eat into an airtight cat box and go inside like black ants closing in on a box of cake. Lady Bencastle's peace also worries me. It was fortunate that Erika-sama stole the show at tonight's dinner. By doing that, she created an atmosphere in which it was possible to close down the family conference for the night. If you all had returned directly to the family conference as usual, the barrier might have broken tonight. However, it also made the toxin go ever thicker. After it thickens all night, it might manage to penetrate the closed-room barrier with ease. Whether we continue to hold down the fort or not, we will not make it through tomorrow unless we prepare a new strategy and a new barrier. Lady Castle may have some plan for breaking the closed-room barrier. We can't take that beast called Erika lightly. Come to think of it, that man who mentioned taking revenge for the events of 19 years ago might also be a piece of Lady Castle's. His board achieved equilibrium with 18 pieces, but now it has had 2 undesired pieces added to it. There are too many irregularities this year. Lady Castle is a fan of Eastern things. In shogi or Japanese chess, aren't you allowed to drop pieces in during a game? Yes, that is possible. Even the act of dropping a queen from the captured pile right in front of the enemy king is an allowable trump card in shogi. I wonder what that man who claimed to have a connection from 19 years ago is doing now. Is he already hiding somewhere on this island? That god Kodarika was able to appear by claiming to have drifted here. That man might also have landed somewhere on this island despite the typhoon, and he may be hiding somewhere now. And it's going to be hard to fully deceive the relatives any longer. Why? Why have so many irregular things happened at the same time? How can you explain this nightmarish miracle of coincidence?
Convenient word choice.
Miracles. Natsi slammed the desk hard, held her head, and cringed at the pain from her overwhelming headache. Lady Burn Castle controls miracles. There's no point being surprised at irregularities or miracles when she's around. Alashoki is a game in which an enemy piece might suddenly appear in front of a king. For that very reason, you'll build up a perfect formation that won't allow for such a weakness, artistically constructing a castle around your king. In that case, isn't holding the fort exactly what we should be doing now? Perhaps if we had the fort we could hold, but we cannot hope for such a thing now. It's difficult to corner a king with no wall to its back. His back. And even more difficult to corner one with open spaces in all directions. Think of a mouse. You can catch a mouse that's shut in a cage. However, catching a mouse in a field is like trying to catch a cloud. Natsu-sama, please allow us to consider this option. Kinzo-sama will leave his study and wander on the mansion on a whim, avoiding the gazes of the relatives. We'll think of a natural-seeming plan for this by morning. Don't you see the danger? If we're willing to consider such a dangerous option, wouldn't it be better to continue acting as our fathers in his room in a bad mood? The more the relatives will crowd on the study once again. They'll be right on the other side of that single door. When that happens, just how long do you intend to make it seem like they're having a killing match with Kinzo-sama? It's impossible. And we must find some way to postpone that impossibility for 36 hours. If you tell me to do it, I will. I am Ashumiya Natsuhi, the wife of the Ashumiya family head. If you tell me to do that, I'll act out a shouting match with father for as many days as it takes. Ah! Even Natsuhi realized that she could never manage it. But she no longer saw any chance of victory from a plan that involved the illusion of Kinzo walking around, banging on the desk several times with tears of rage streaming down her face. Natsuhi alternated between groaning from her headache and placing the blame on one thing or another. It made one feel that there must be some curse that made everyone who sat in that chair act that way. This is like a game of mating shogi, where you are on the defensive. In mating shogi, the opponent has no king, and you have no way of winning other than avoiding a checkmate for a predetermined number of moves. And to think that I must escape for a whole day on a half's worth of moves, it's just too many. Don't stop thinking, don't give up. I'll listen to your complaints, so don't have a fit. Your unshaking will to overcome this trial will bring your success with certainty. That's the power of the Witch of Certainty for you. You must not lose that magical power. Believe that you will overcome this no matter what. I'm sure you'll think of a brilliant plan. Therefore, you mustn't give up, and you mustn't stop thinking. You're right. I understand. Only I can overcome this hardship. That is correct. Didn't Kinzo entrust you with the job of overcoming these challenges? Kinzo acknowledged that you are worthy of that responsibility. Father! 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 Peter and Rodove will think of a move. Of course, I will think as well. However, even that we cannot do without permission from our master, from you. So at the very least, don't abandon your will to fight. Don't give up. I understand, but I'm already all tired out and I can't stand this headache. Why is it that I'm crying here, all alone in this frigid study? Why? Why isn't my husband here for me now? Back when dinner ended, Kraus claimed to be dizzy and went to bed early. Of course, he had done this to get enough rest to ready himself for the long day ahead. But to Natsuhi right now, it felt as though he'd just gone straight to sleep and pushed the entire burden on her. However, complaining about such a thing would mean her failure as a wife. Isn't it a good wife's duty to work hard and put family first, even when her husband is resting? Filled with regret, even at her anger towards her husband, unable to determine at whom she should be angry, Natsuhi continued to sob. If only Kinzo would just speak to her kindly at times like this. Bear to search for him, but Kinzo had been nowhere to be seen in the study for some time now. Perhaps Natsuhi had noticed this as well. Though she bragged that fighting alone and supporting from behind was the responsibility of a good wife, without anyone to tell her that this really was necessary. She was now so frail that she couldn't even stop her own tears. Just as Bearta was trying to think of words to console Natsuhi, the Gilead tapped her lightly on the shoulder. Sometimes when words of consolation don't come from the mouth of the right person, they can do more harm than good. so Vigilia silently told Beato that remaining silent was the best course of action for now.
Hi, sorry to interrupt. I know I'm an outsider, but I wonder if you'd let me speak.
Gap, please restrain yourself for the time being. No, in this room there's no distinction between outsiders, guests, and the rest of us. You may speak.
Thank you. I wonder if he said it himself a while ago. This is mating shogi with you on the defensive. How could you lose in mating shogi? It's when your king is checkmated, right?
That goes without saying, and the opponent has no king. Therefore, all Nazi can do is have a king run away constantly. I see. So you're thinking of that move. Has that time already come? What do you mean? Do you mean there's some sort of move remaining to us?
It's what you proposed in the very beginning about Hyde Goldsmith's death. I'm trying to say the time's come for us to use that.
Ooh. You mean having him go missing? You mean to make that move right now during the family conference? That's too dangerous. Once they'd successfully resolved all their problems, they would have to lay Kinzo to rest. And the best way to do that was to make him disappear. One day, Kinzo would go out into the forest and never return. They wouldn't be able to find him no matter how much they searched, so he would be declared missing.
You said it yourself a second ago, Riche. You can't catch a mouse that's already escaped into a field, and you can't catch a goldsmith who's disappeared into a forest.
You planned for us to talk our way out of this like that? To use such a move now, when the suspicion against us is greatest, would be no better than committing suicide. Oh, they would probably suspect it. Such a move would most certainly lead to mistrust. However, even if they were to set foot in his study, they would find nothing to aid them. It would never again be possible for them to keep Kinzo-sama pinned down, and no matter how much they suspected his death, they would be unable to prove it.
Forget about a mere 36 hours. You'll be able to protect Kinzo's secret forever that way, right? Of course, we'll also have to bear an appropriate risk.
If you make that move, you may be able to overcome this particular challenge. But we cannot even guess at how much prestige you might lose for it.
Even so, it's a move that will most certainly overcome our current challenge. Of course, then you'll have to face an even greater suspicion, but you won't die.
Yes, that may be true, but...
During the Great Kanto earthquake, the Shumia family should have died. However, the mad genius goldsmith revived it so splendidly that it's now something you desire to protect. So this time, it's up to you and your husband, the new head and his wife, to do the same.
Oh, is that how you intend to stir her up?
I'm not stirring her up. I'm just asking if she's prepared to be the wife of the head. You prepared to protect the Shumia family even if you end up getting dragged through the dirt to do it?
I am prepared.
And now's the time. If you can't survive by being dragged through the dirt, then crawl through with all your might. You'll inch your way through to this world of suffering, and eventually you restore that glory. I, Gap, the 33rd in rank, promise you this.
Gap.
In fact, I came to play at a time like this must be a sign from the gods of happenstance. I'll keep this promise, assure me, Nazi. I require nothing in return. Riche, the one who serves you, has already paid me plenty in advance.
Garp may have seemed irresponsible, but she actually possessed a strong sense of duty. She was the kind of person who just couldn't leave someone in trouble alone. Payment in advance? Oh, when did I do that? I have no memory of such a thing.
Oh, I just mean those magical items you couldn't remember where you put. I made off with quite a few of them.
What? So that was your doing after all? Give them back! Give back my illusory silver crystal and my moon stick! I still haven't played around by sticking them together yet!
That's the sort of magic and strategy you can expect from me. I can hide Goldsmith away in a world where no one will be able to find him. Let me know the instant you need that magic. Till then, feel free to think of another safer plan.
True. Having alternatives is beneficial for your peace of mind, and without that you'll never think up a brilliant plan. Natsui-sama, we have quite some time remaining to us tonight. Let's leave Gab's strategy as a final trump card and iron out a plan of our own for now. Please, give us permission. And, please, give us the trust, magical power, and absolute conviction we need to succeed without fail.
If you have faith, I'll make your dreams come true. If you succumb to doubt, then I'll make those nightmares come true. You must build your own future.
Kinzo would disappear, and right in the middle of this family conference, such a move truly would be a last resort. Burying this final trump card in her heart, Natsu decided that she would grope around for a different plan until the last second. After all, this long night had only just begun. But Castle and her peace had just as long to prepare as Natsu did.
Oh, that was a tough one for you, boy.
That was kind of fun, but also like...
What was that click?
I don't know. What was that click? Where are we? I'm glad it's over.
I gouge the foot and kill, and that completes it.
I see. So that really was what gouge meant. Once again, my reasoning was correct.
The feel of it this time was clearly different from the previous times, as though some sort of device had been activated. However, as far as a quick glance could tell, there was no dramatic change such as an entrance or some sort of opening. Apparently they would need to do just a little more before they could find it.
Oh.
You're incredible. If we really do find the gold, we'll have to split it together.
Enjoying the intellectual simulation is enough for me. The only thing I like is solving riddles. The only reward I need is proof that I was right.
She shrugged it off, implying that just seeing the gold would be enough. Then she crouched down, peering fixedly at the lock mechanism. It's definitely no mistake to say this girl really loves solving riddles. For her, treasure hunting is about the delicious process of exposing secrets, so she had no interest whatsoever in getting the treasure for herself and becoming a billionaire.
I see. Pretty cocky of you, setting up a device like this. The mistake you all made was letting me on this island in the first place. Simply by the existence of the epitaph in the first place, this level of reasoning is possible for Faruda Erica. What do you think, everyone?
As she said this to the now exposed contraption, she grinned. Her smile was the triumphant, but it was more fully characterized by the small bits of unpleasant disdain contained within. After solving the riddle, she was probably reveling in the pleasure of having won against the one who'd proposed it, and she enjoyed her ability to scoff at this person now.
If we find the gold now, the successor won't be Kraus-san, but you.
Huh. Well, I wonder.
Isn't Kraus-san kind of arrogant? You might even call him a braggart. It'll be pretty amusing to see him lose both the gold and his position as a successor to his nephew in the cause of a single night, won't it? Erica was still crouched down as she spoke, her back to Battler as she toyed around with the device. Jessica-san was her name, right? The girl who talked back to me.
Yeah?
She really was acting big about her father being the successor. When she wakes up tomorrow and learns that you've inherited all the gold, and that her father's in love with the successor, I wonder what kind of expression she'll have on her face.
I got no intention of keeping that 20 billion to myself. Well, if I got even 10%, that'd be as much as I could handle. We can split up the rest fairly among the family. I'm even less interested in being the successor. I'd be glad to let Uncle Kraus deal with that.
Will you really be able to settle things that easily in the end? Well, rather than trying to make guesses about that, I imagine it'll be more fun to guess at the expression Jessica-san wears tomorrow. And what kind of sad excuses she'll try to make.
You really do have a nasty personality.
Oh, couldn't you reason that out from the time you learned that I like solving riddles? I'm an intellectual rapist who enjoys exposing things people try to hide, get it? The same thing goes for solving the epitaph's riddle.
But you wanted to expose the gold grandfather worked so hard to hide.
Yes, that was my goal at first, but it changed partway through.
Partway through? Changed to what?
I mean Jessica-san. She butted in on my reasoning, contaminating that pure and noble time. Ever since then, I've been trying to solve the epitaph so I could teach that Jessica a lesson.
You serious?
I'll make all opponents surrender, no matter who they are. That is my sole pleasure. Do you still need me to reason it out for you? Ushumi and Jessica irritated me. That's why I wanted to put her in her place and decided to solve the epitaph. That's what led to the emotions I hold now. Can you reason out what those emotions are?
This time I turned my back on her in earnest. Did I get a bit too excited by this riddle-solving game, letting her drive me on and do something terrible? That's right. Should have been possible to reason this out. If the riddle is solved, the relatives will probably freak out about who the successor should be. Dad and some others will probably push for me, the discoverer, to be the successor, and some relatives will not be thrilled that Prospect will probably oppose them. Despite how adamantly Erica affirmed it, it isn't written anywhere that the one who solves the riddle of the epitaph becomes the successor. Because of this, it'll lead to a fight between those who acknowledge that theory and those who don't. If I reason out what'll happen next, as Erica did, it'll probably lead to a messy fight between Uncle Kraus and the rest of the relatives. Now that I've solved the riddle, will Jessica admire me or curse me? I don't want to think about that now. Erica was still mumbling. Apparently she had already started trying to reason it out. So I began to feel bad. I vaguely gazed into the black of night. Huh? That time I looked at a dim outdoor light and saw the silhouette of a person in front of it. Thought I must be seeing things. After all, it was unthinkable that someone could have been standing there this whole time, pounded upon by the rain without even an umbrella. However, the silhouette didn't move an inch, and maybe, no, it couldn't be. It was looking at me, and it was... Grandfather? That moment I understood. Grandfather's probably been watching us solve the riddle this whole time. And he watched as we spectacularly solved the whole thing. Ha! Without a doubt, there was a faint smile on Grandfather's face. Grandfather, who had never worn anything except moody and frightening expressions, looked at me in the eye and smiled at me for the first time. Almost as though he was saying, how impudent. Or else I never thought it would be you. However, this is still the result that Grandfather's epitaph chose, so I'm sure he accepted that result. In the end, he grinned one more time. Of course, he didn't use words. His smile seemed to be wordlessly saying, well done. I didn't know how I should respond. I couldn't do anything but stand there in shock, ignoring Erica as she crouched down and mumbling with her back towards me. And Grandfather stretched out a hand from the folds of his cloak and pointed at something. When I looked in that direction, the thing he was pointing at was probably the signpost to the Golden Land. Go. I'm sure Grandfather said that one word. I nodded to show that I understood. After watching that, Grandfather nodded back, satisfied. And with a spin of his cloak, he disappeared, seeming to melt into the darkness. Expression on his face at the end was a smile that was for the first time truly satisfied.
Are you listening, Butler-san? Did you hear my reasoning?
I found it. That's the signpost to the Golden Land.
Huh? Ah, it's facing a different direction than it used to.
I know what this is.
No comment.
I know what this is.
No comment. I don't know, what could it be? I see. So it means go that way. You've got some pretty good powers of observation. Hey, we're back. I mean, we never left.
We never left.
I said this line.
I know you did. Grandfather told me about it.
Huh? Kinzo-san, where is he?
Battler's such a fucking accomplice this time. I'm going. Let's have a look at what you're showing us. What is this Golden Land? We started to walk. The entrance to the Golden Land was right there. Where could it possibly be? So, my epitaph has finally been solved. And it was Battler who did it. Wonderful, couldn't be better. When I think about it, I was also ahead that no one saw coming. How amusing that the one to succeed me is just as surprising. I have no more regrets in life. Beatrice, I am coming to join you, along with a present, the miracle chosen by my epitaph. Battler of all people. That Battler. At the very end of my life, I have seen a true miracle. Beatrice! I've won this bet! I enjoyed that. That was fun.
I could tell. Oh man, here we are.
Here we go, boys.
I'm excited.
Where could this possibly be? What could possibly...
We've been here before.
What could possibly have
trying to
turned
play
around?
coy, you nerd.
But Ben...
We've been here before.
We have been here before. Oh, look, it's the gold. I'm
It's
shocked.
Gold Seal!
Yahoo!
Except for its non-corrosive properties, there's no practical way to turn gold into money. I imagine it'd take a lot of work to exchange all this for cash.
End of a crude underground tunnel in a VIP room so beautiful it seemed improper, was a pile of gold so large that there could be no doubting its 20 billion yen worth.
Erica was calm, but Battler couldn't suppress his excitement. As for which of the two was the correct reaction to show after seeing a mountain of gold, only those who saw the scene with their own eyes could say for sure. In this day and age, it's said that an average salaryman earns about 200 million yen in wages over his life, and this is 20 billion yen worth of gold. With even 1/100th of this gold amount, and a single human could live their entire life without working. What is labor? Isn't it the very point of a human's life, since a person who doesn't work cannot eat? If so, then 200 million yen is enough to make a single person's life complete. And this is 20 billion yen. This would account for the labors of 100 humans. No, a single human life 100 times over. Of course, if you still wanted to work, you could. Any money you gain as a result could be used to play with. After all, you would already have enough money to live for your entire life. No, for eternity.
No, wait, I mustn't keep it all to myself. I can split it up among 100 people. If I could create a world where 100 humans wouldn't have to work their whole lives, what kind of world would that be? There's no doubt at all. This is the Golden Land. There you go! Burn Battler magnificently discovered the gold. Congrats.
Fucking Burn Battler.
I had to hide the more central parts of it, but what's wrong with being a little mean, right? Sure, do that as much as you like. I'm not interested in the micro details about what kind of riddle it was or what kind of answer it had. The important thing is that as a result, 10 tons of gold were discovered. The gold was discovered in the third game as well by Aunt Ava. And Rosa also witnessed it. However, the two of them hadn't spoken of the gold's discovery to anyone. In other words, there was a chance that the gold's discovery was a catbox truth, kept between the two of them. More specifically, it was possible that the gold didn't exist and was just an illusion. However, I've finally found it. The catbox has been opened. Be a waste of time to do that repeated game, so I'll give you a little bonus. This mountain of gold is real.
Yo!
All the ingots piled up here are real, pure gold. There are absolutely no tricks such as replicas or fakes. Okay, got it. I'll accept this gold exists. However, there are still some things I can't accept.
Of course. You met with him, didn't you? With Kinzo.
Even though Kinzo's supposedly an illusion, you met with him just a second ago, right? I guess that really was magic, wasn't it?
Ridiculous. I didn't exchange any words with Grandfather. I only felt as though Grandfather and I had exchanged words. Give it a rest. The same move won't work again.
In that case, your blue truth, if you please.
I was probably in an excited state after solving the epitaph's riddle, and I mistook something for Grandfather. For example, maybe there was some kind of sheet or cover that had gotten caught in a dark grove of trees, which looked like Grandfather was wearing a pitch black cloak. As a result, I mistakenly thought that I had some sort of conversation with Grandfather.
Battler, you nerd. Blue truth, valid. Well, I did say the exact same thing in blue.
So, did it work? Where's your counter with the red truth?
I have none. At least not now, okay?
I could think of a counter. Just saying.
I'd be very interested to know, but I'm a bit lost.
By I mean, I should clarify. By I could think of a counter, I mean I could think of one based on this, where I was at this point in the story.
What was that, Ben?
No one would mistake Kinzo by sight.
That red truth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's probably the biggest one.
Well, no one would mistake Kinzo. Not anyone would mistake someone else for Kinzo.
Yeah.
It could be a stretch. I don't know. I don't think it's a problem. I think Battler's an accomplice. I think what we're seeing through him is bullshit.
Yeah.
Erica didn't see Kinzo or acknowledge his presence.
Sure.
Me, who let out a strange yell in front of the mound of gold, was finally starting to regain his cool. Now that we've found it, there's no covering it up. I vaguely considered keeping this discovery a secret. However, Erica wanted to prove that her own reasoning was correct by announcing this to everyone. She really is an intellectual rapist, just as she says. The puzzle-solving game is what's important to her, and she doesn't intend to take any responsibility for what happens after the riddle is solved. Riddle is sort of like a lock. Locks exist to be locked, and they're only significant when they're locked. Therefore, it ought to be essential to have some goal in mind when exposing such a thing. However, to this girl, the act of exposing it herself is her final goal, and she has no intention of taking responsibility for anything that happens later. Maybe the true storm to hit Rikenjimer isn't the typhoon, but her.
Yes.
She won't keep this discovery a secret. She'll definitely announce it so she can brag about her success, then she'll call a real storm down upon this island. I won't be able to keep this covered up. In that case, there's nothing to do but announce this fact fairly to all. Can't imagine what'll happen after that. She grinned. Erica muttered to herself. She must have been anticipating the uproar that the relatives would soon bring about. To her, merely imagining that was far sweeter than 20 billion yen in gold.
Simply by the existence of the epitaph in that place, this level of reasoning is possible for Fruto Erica. What do you think, everyone? Beautiful.
What an obnoxious fucking character.
I love her. Oh boy.
I don't know, Ben. I feel like the whole thing is just slotting together too nicely at the moment.
You think so?
Yeah. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, that's fair. See you next time.
See you next time.